By the way, 3 things to think about when you're doing your plates. 1, block either end, and then using a smaller piece to go through the line, touching the block on the plate, making sure that's parallel with that line and spot on straight. Second thing is level up from the brickwork. Then you can see what it's going to be like. When a bricklayer comes up with these plinths and the cladding's on, when the lead goes on and the cladding comes over, all the margins are parallel and look respectable. Third thing, level, square in the corners. Make sure they're square in the corners. So when it comes to doing the rooms, everything looks nice, flush, square, works well for the skirting, plasterboard, kitchen goes in, roof lights, all the plasterboard lines are all in line, all set out from this plate. Stud walls, double plates, top and bottom, then I stand them up. I try and do it so they're all staggered so everything's tied in. What I do is check the steel. If the steel leaves in 5mm, then I'll cut the top plate 5mm smaller. If it leans out the opposite way, I make it 5mm and I'll take that into consideration. So when I stand my walls up, everything's all level. So the plan of action was to get the walls up. Steel's coming in Monday. Don't get the walls up, steels don't go in, steels don't go in, the roof don't get done. Let's go and have a look. Put a drawing. So we've got these steels going across here, here, and this would be a flitch beam that goes through. We've got all these to go in. So it's important to get these walls in to take the steels. And we've got the holes there. So you see the steel go from there to here. Same with up there. And then get another one across here. There's a fair bit going on. A lot of steels. 3 big openings. Nice. Right, this section here, the steel was supposed to go tight to the steel. The only issue I've got is with that is you can't fix a raft down. And if you put a plate on top of the steel, you're cutting more than 1/3 of your bird's mouth out. So what I wanted is the plate consistent all the way round, so we can get a pattern and all our bird's mouth sitting and we can get a good fixing all the way around. So we just kept it simple. Top plate in, put the steel in, but we cut the steel down so it's enclosed inside. So we've got fixing points everywhere, so when we come do the sheeting and apply it, it just makes things a lot easier and simple. Okay, what are your opinions out there? Everybody's got a different opinion and I'm curious. Okay, so do we put a post that's continuous from the bottom to the top underneath the steel, or is it okay to build a stud wall underneath that? We need the walls up so we can start getting steels in, but we need steels in to build the roof, so it's a bit catch-22. But I tried leaving our options open. Me personally, I like to build something in like a stud wall on top of the stud wall, tight in all the way around, hold it in square and keep the strength. Some people talk about the shrinkage on the plate, and that's why it's important to have the end grains up. But that doesn't mean you run it right down to the concrete block. You sit on top of the plate. See what I'm saying? If this plate shrinks, that plate shrinks, and the other plates shrink, everything moves together. So what's your thoughts and opinions on that? Okay, so I've got flitch beams to go in, so we could have made them all up on the floor. Wasn't sure how these steels are going to work. The lads are good, but just wasn't sure until they're up. So we've gone around laser leveled everywhere. We've got a 2mm discrepancy in the whole lot. They're really, really good. I mean, that's the other side of a line on a cut. So what we're going to do is we've put 4mm hole, 3 places on the flitch beam. I'm going to get a 10mm countersink, just to countersink that out a little bit so I can sink a screw in there. I'll put a timber on this side, I'll screw them in and I'll check that they're laser. Or the fact that the steel's really good, I can use a 5mm hacker each end above the steels, hold the timbers in place, drill through, and when I put the other timber on and clamp it, we'll drill back and then we'll bolt them up. Right, working out these flitch beams, what we could have done is just put a hang on. But me, I like things spot on, I keep things simple. So we put a piece of timber here, timber locked it up to the plate, which is against the wall up top there. We ran the flitch plate all the way over and sat it on top of this timber, which is fixed up onto the plate. Then we put a lever on the external wall up, measured it from its fixing point, with the flitch here where it's fixed and bolted, then went to this end and done the same. So we knew that this is parallel with the wall. And then to go one better, then we checked from corner to corner to see how this is going to be for the roof light. So what we did, keep it going, I edit it. So what we did, we've got our pattern, and our trimmer needs to be the same all the way around, so all the rafters are the same and they work out the same pitch. On here, we put one up, and that told us where our trimmer's going to be. Done one at the other end, put our rafter up, told us where our trimmer's going to be. Now, cut all of them, and that'll be consistent, same all the way through. Lanterns, the roof lights. What we do is, we put a piece of timber in there, parallel. We'll cut a piece of timber at the top to hold it parallel. And if we need to push the noggins out to bow it in, we do. If we feel we need to get it in, we get a ratchet. But either way, we want these straight and parallel and square. Ply, furrings, ply, Celotex, ply. Now, I've always done it so the ply runs over the edge of the roof. And then when you've got flat roofs in the pitch and the ply's hanging over, I leave it longer for the reason that when the tiles come up, the roof can cut the ply back to suit, so it works best for him in his lead detail. He's asked me to give him a specific height. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure down the 150mm Celotex, 18mm ply, and that gives me the ends of my furrings. So now what we're going to do is we've worked out the spans, we've worked out what you could call like the hips of all the furrings. We're going to start running it down. Because of the shape of it, we're going to have it, the furrings are going to be different pitches, but the end result I want is the same all the way around to this upstand. So when it gets dressed with a lead, it's the same lead detail all the way around. How do we overcome this little detail? Right, let's break it down. If you've got a 5 metre span, you would measure 5 metres in. That's your 45, so you'd have a hip here. You do the same the other end. The only issue is, this section is flat. So you're going to have like a furring that will go up, flat, then a furring down. So it's a flat section, and all the water's going to get caught behind his lantern. So there's a lot to absorb and take in on that. So we've done it a bit differently. We've followed the same picture all the way through. So now, we've got 2 furrings against the wall, which is this. That's our centre point, it goes all the way out, all the way out. I've kept this like a ridge, if you can call it that, level out, and it falls back. So now what we've created is like a square that is going to be tilted. So basically the water will go that way with the furrings and that way out, and try and disperse some of this water so it doesn't get caught behind this lantern. Furrings started 200 one end, finished at 75 the other end. When it got to this point, it was about 100mm, following that straight line from one end to the other end. So if you had 100mm here and 75 there, all the furrings would have been 100mm, keeping all these at the same pitch, all the same plane of the roof. And what we didn't want to do is change the lead detail. So we wanted it at 75 all the way around. So now we've got a nice detail all the way around, all consistent. So we put this in, you could call it like a furring hip. So what it allowed us to do is fall down to hit 75 there, done the same all the way around there, and just slope the roof in gradually. And we've got a fall going all directions to the out, and now all the lead detail on the tile is all the same. Three tips. 1, corners. If you glue one side, any movement, they're less likely to pop off. 2, always put your soffit joint on first before you pin it, because you won't get it on. And 3, all of the joining strips, corners, if you cut them 2mm lower, when they put the tiles on them, they won't pop off when you glue them on. Put the fascia in, simple. I hold the square against the batten, and I hold 2 bits of soffit. Sit my fascia in. Now, that's your 10mm for the soffit, 10mm for the lip of the fascia. I'll tack every 2 metres, and then I'll run my eye through and adjust it. But if you do it square off the building, you can't go wrong. How I get my fascia and soffit correct. First of all, I work out my fascia height. And as you can see, I've screwed an offcut there. And then what I do is, I'll hold a square to the wall. Now this lip's 10mm, the soffit's 10mm. So if I've got a 20mm difference, I will measure up 20mm at the back, and that will be the bottom of my batten. So I'll just explain that again. 10mm lip with the fascia, what goes under the soffit, the 10mm soffit in the groove. So when you square up 20mm up, that's my line, and that will be the bottom of my batten. And what we'll do is we'll laser level that all the way around, and that will give us a perfect, great straight line all the way around for the soffit. And then if there's any cladding or anything going on to the build, all your margins will be all parallel. Backing board. I love a backing board. It takes the whip out the fascia, and I can put my nails wherever I like. So I've got 3 pieces of fascia, all divided up equally. I've come in 100mm each end for my nails, and I've divided all my nails so they've got the exact space between each nail. So it's not a matter of just going along 600 and having one where it goes at the end. I want them all divided, so when you look at it, it's all symmetrical.